Next, I'd like to call upon Janie Simpson. Janie is a great supporter of SBMA and the Singapore market. And ABC Bullion is a good representation of the Australian market to the ASEAN market. From interaction with Janie and her colleagues, you sense the dynamism of the Australian sector to our bullion industry. Janie, your 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you so much for inviting me to present on the Australian gold market. It's so lovely to see all of you, even though we are speaking through computers. We were hoping to catch up with you all in Singapore this year, but it wasn't to be. But hopefully 2021 will be back at the conference in force. But thank you for inviting me to speak. So as Albert mentioned before, I've been asked to speak on the Australian gold market and give you a little bit of an update. Firstly, I'd like to give you a few facts and figures. Australia ranks number 2 globally in gold production. We produced approximately 326 tonnes in 2019. And according to the Australian Government Department of Industry, we are forecast to overtake China in 2021, producing 383 tonnes versus China's 380 tonnes. Australia also ranks number 1 globally in terms of economically demonstrated resources. We have just over 10,000 tonnes, which is 17% of world gold resources. Our resources are 5.6 times higher than China's. Australian producers are also profitable. When our currency reached parity with the US dollar in 2010-11, it forced our producers to become lean. Higher gold prices due to a weakening Australian dollar encouraged and increased production and exploration, which is now back to 2012 levels. Next slide, please. Australian government took decisive action in response to COVID-19. Australian producers and refiners were considered essential businesses in Australia and remained open throughout the whole lockdown. The market in Australia is serviced by 2 LBMA and SGE accredited refiners who process a combined gold and silver doré throughput of 29.3 million ounces per annum. ABC Refinery has a 43% market share of that throughput. And I'd like to note that almost all of the gold refined in Australia is exported. Okay, this slide illustrates where the Australian gold exports actually are exported to. So as you can see from this chart, Singapore was a significant destination for Australian gold in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Then in the 2000s, India overtook the other countries. And then you can see as late as in 2019, and this hasn't been updated in 2020, that Hong Kong and China are now the dominant buyers of Australian gold. Okay, on the demand side, regarding the Australian bullion market, it is really small by global standards. So Australia's population is only 25 million, so it's small. And the domestic market is well serviced by well over 25 substantial bullion dealers. So this is a great chart. It shows the Australian precious metal prices are at an all-time high at the moment, unlike the US dollar prices, which are still high, but the Australian dollar, you can see by our Australian dollar movements, has pushed the Aussie gold price to all-time highs. Domestic demand has been good these last few years, and especially in the COVID-19 situation of March and April, but really has not been outstanding given the performance of local prices. We believe this is because the local market prices are quoted in US dollars and therefore understate returns to the investing public in Australia. So our marketing challenge here locally is forced us to raise awareness of gold and educate the market, which isn't an easy feat, given that the investing public in Australia sees the traditional financial assets as their go-tos to put in their investment portfolios. So our challenge here at ABC Bullion and in the whole Australian market is to engage the retail bullion market So we've been engaging with marketing companies and other international forces such as the World Gold Council on how we can promote gold investment to the Australian and Australasian public. So that is a challenge that we face going forward to hopefully sell more of the Australian gold that we produce here in Australia to the Australian general public.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.